Welcome back, Cosmic Carnage aficionados, to Kuzi's Realm 616 for the true terrifying power of Thanos, Part 2, where we will conclude the analysis on why Thanos is the most unrivaled cosmic powerhouse in comic book history. We have thus far established that Thanos was born a mutant god with unbelievable power, but far from enough to satiate his incredible hunger for more. Therefore, he spent decades venturing through space, training, reinforcing his incredible might in every conceivable way, as well as bolstering his physical, mental, and spiritual defenses. He also spent these decades questing after esoteric knowledge, scientific pursuits, and finding over-the-top ways to profess his love to Mistress Death. Thanos grew to such unprecedented heights, and his mind operated on such transcendent levels that he became outside of the astral norm, meaning that his motives and actions are unknown even to the highest echelon of cosmic beings, such as Master Order and Lord Chaos, who are responsible for forging the destiny of both mortal beings and gods alike. And he is capable of turning the tides in battles that are determined to be utterly hopeless. To raise the bar even higher, Thanos officially became Mistress Death's avatar and was granted a fraction of her cosmic power, adding to his already unmatched cosmic might. We've seen Thanos outmaneuver, overpower, and defeat every champion the cosmic forces chose to rise against him, except for Adam Warlock, who became something of a cosmic brother to Thanos. Thanos also overcame all of the Elders of the Universe, each enhanced by an Infinity Gem, as well as the In-Betweener. We have seen beings enhanced by a single Infinity Gem become a universal threat on multiple occasions, which is simply not enough to stop even a base Thanos by this point. By this point, we have seen Thanos obtain various degrees of omnipotence on 3 separate occasions. Other characters in comics have obtained various degrees of omnipotence, but never as consistently as Thanos. We saw Doctor Doom become God Emperor Doom after usurping the power of the Beyonders, but this power was stored externally via Molecule Man, who channeled the omnipotence to Doom. Contrast this with Thanos, who through sheer force of will absorbed the totality of the heart of the universe, a facet of the one above all, into his physical form, an endeavor that would kill any other being. And he also gained mastery over this omnipotence instantaneously. Every time Thanos has ever lost his omnipotence has been the result of a subconscious decision on his part, which led to an obvious blunder that no omnipotent being could make that didn't actually want to. Thanos has either incapacitated or straight up mowed down every horde of superheroes and cosmic entities that has ever stood in his way of omnipotence, and has never been beat down or thwarted by a single hero, such as Darkseid, who has been bested by Superman on multiple occasions and has never lost his omnipotence like Doom after just simply losing the backing of Molecule Man, and that was it. While we're discussing Darkseid, many will mention True Darkseid, who is a multiversal being, as being superior to Thanos. And while it is true that Thanos is not naturally a cosmic entity of this magnitude, that's what makes it all the more badass when he outmaneuvers and surpasses beings of this caliber time and time again. We last left off about to dive into Thanos' 4th time becoming the Marvel Universe's omnipotent being, this time with the Astral Regulator. This artifact is a device placed inconspicuously in each universe by, above all others, in order to prevent the individual universes from colliding into each other. In order to prevent these devices from ever being tampered with, thereby causing multiversal cataclysm, above all others made it so that ordinary beings could not even touch these regulators. As the reader, we are informed that by ordinary beings, even infinity and eternity are included in this category. Thanos of Titan is not. Thanos once again overcame complete disintegration, persevering even as his flesh melted away in order to obtain a device that no being was meant to wield. There is literally no limit to the feats that Thanos is capable of. This cosmic upheaval threw the cosmic hierarchy into whack, allowing Thanos to climb the ladder, absorbing cosmic entity after cosmic entity, including Mistress Death, garnering more and more power until he stood on equal footing with the Living Tribunal and even above all others, and was able to challenge these two beings to a cosmos-shaking bout and walk away victorious, having absorbed both of these beings into himself as well. I do believe above all others represents but an aspect of the one above all, much like the heart of the universe. It is not Marvel's God in its entirety, as the one above all is meant to represent Stan Lee and the various writers at Marvel, whose power I doubt could be usurped in such a fashion. At this point, Thanos is being manipulated into these actions by a future version of himself in order to ensure that his future omnipotence remains undisputed. At this point, Thanos is clearly once again one with the entire omniverse, as he even exists as and above the reader of this very book. Thanos' consciousness still exists, but as a captive within the mind of his future self. Once again, the only one able to stop Thanos is Thanos. Him, along with his cosmic brother and longtime companion, Adam Warlock, in order to prevent the imminent death of all realities, including ours. Maybe if we just take away Thanos' cosmic might, then others may stand a chance of beating him? Jeff Lemire actually explores this idea in 2017's God Quarry, where Mistress Death purposely infects Thanos with a god cancer, and then she empowers Thanos' son Thane with the Phoenix Force. Death and Thane banish Thanos, stripping away all his power, and then Thane, with a mind afflicted by Death's manipulation, begins wreaking havoc throughout the universe with his newfound power. To remedy this ailment, Thanos travels to the God Quarry, home of the Witches of Eternity, at the fringes of our universe, a place where ancient gods whose relevance has faded with time go to die, becoming part of the sediment, and only able to re-emerge if they face the trials of self-realization within and emerge self-actualized. Thanos willingly descends into the quarry, where he lives out a fantasy within his mind where he is the beloved, noble leader of the Avengers. To make a long story short, Thanos senses this is not whom he is meant to be, kills the Avengers, and emerges from the God Quarry. With all his power restored, Thanos is more than ready to whip his insolent pup into shape. The multiversal power of the Phoenix Force is more than a match for nearly any god or intergalactic civilization and all the heroes within. However, even all that power, without the proper training to utilize it, just isn't gonna cut it in a fight against Thanos. Thanos mercilessly blasts Thane through a planet, flies through the gaping impact zone in pursuit of his son, grabs the planet's moon with his bare hands, and smacks his cosmically empowered son back to the God Quarry. Thanos survived the quarry because he knows who he is meant to be. The same cannot be said for his son, who he coldly drops into the pit of deceased gods. Death then appears and reveals that she concocted this whole series of events just to see if Thanos could rebuild himself from nothing, thus proving his worthiness of her love. However, Thanos rejects his lady and states that he no longer wants nor needs her affection and walks away. Thanos, stripped of all power, finds a way to regain what he has lost and easily dispatch his Phoenix Force-enhanced son. Once again, it is abundantly clear that Thanos cannot lose unless he chooses to. This is further explored by Donny Cates in 2018's Thanos Wins. This story tells the tale of Thanos' distant future, millions of years distant. Unfortunately, Thanos' forsaking of Mistress Death didn't last long, as after all these years, he still pines after her affection, after having systematically killed off nearly every living being in existence. This version of Thanos has no infinity gauntlet or collection of cosmic cubes or any other nigh omnipotent artifact, but rather millions of years of training and development in pursuit of death. What's truly shocking about this story is this version of Thanos is actually more powerful than he was with the Infinity Gauntlet. For not only did Thanos slay Eternity, Infinity, Galactus, etc., but also the Living Tribunal, whose power has always reigned supreme within the Marvel Multiverse. The only two beings that this old King Thanos permitted to live were Frank Castle, who was now imbued with both the spirit of vengeance and power cosmic, thus dubbed Cosmic Ghost Rider and served as Thanos' herald, and the Incredible Hulk, who Thanos keeps chained up as a pet as he sits within his makeshift throne forged from the skull of the deceased Galactus. The real reason that Thanos kept the Ghost Rider alive was for his fearsome ability, the Penance Stare. While most foes would go mad from the devastating guilt of a lifetime of sins, Thanos would begin his every morning with a gaze into Ghost Rider's eyes, relishing in it, reliving his fondest memories. The only remaining being this old Thanos has left to kill is the Fallen One, the title his old foe, the Silver Surfer, now goes by, who has become both worthy of wielding Mjolnir and commands the entire Annihilation Wave. The Silver Surfer is another agent of a cosmic being, much like Drax, Captain Marvel, and the In-Betweener, who has always fallen short of matching Thanos. So after millions of years of training and preparation, could he finally match the Mad Titan and put an end to this omnipotent menace once and for all? No, of course not. The only one who could was 2018's Thanos, who refused to kill his future self, disgusted that even after all these millions of years, he still sought his Lady Death's love and affection. Once again, the only one who could kill Thanos is Thanos. Remember, this story came out the same year as Jim Starlin's Infinity Ending, meaning that two stories by two different writers that both came out the same year feature a future omnipotent version of Thanos that can only be stopped by himself. A theme that has persisted in Marvel Comics for nearly 50 years since Thanos first subconsciously allowed Captain Marvel to destroy his cosmic cube. I could go on and on detailing Thanos' unbelievable feats for countless hours, such as the time he brought death to an entire universe that had banished death, or the time he easily incapacitated a Warrior's Madness Thor wielding the Power Gem. And I most certainly will cover these stories and so many more here on this channel, but for now, we will lastly touch on Thanos' unmatched intellect. We have thus far talked about magnitudes of power virtually unheard of, such as absorbing abstract levels of energy so immense they were never meant to be controlled by any being through sheer force of will, challenging the Living Tribunal and walking away victorious on more than one occasion, and besting above all others, thereby transcending the Marvel Universe as a whole. But actually, Thanos' most devastatingly powerful asset is actually his mind. Natural strength, tenacity and training, and unmatched force of will make Thanos a force beyond reckoning. However, when a being exists with or otherwise obtains a level of power beyond even that which Thanos commands, Thanos' richly complex strategic mind is never far away from devising a plan to quickly turn the tables, especially when he puts his head together with the equally outside-the-box thinker, Adam Warlock, to take down any would-be universal conquerors. It was Thanos' strategic mind that devised a plot to purloin the 6 Infinity Gems. It was his strategic mind that bested the Magus on more than one occasion, created a monstrosity of a clone by splicing his DNA with that of Galactus, turning Galactus into a battery for unlimited cosmic might, thereby fueling the Annihilation Wave, and turning the tables on the heart of the universe-powered Akhenaten that even the wily Doctor Doom could not best. And let it not be forgotten that during the second incarnation of the Magus' quest for universal dominance, he saw all the heroes on Earth as merely pawns on the chessboard, while the cosmic beings were the secondary pieces, and Adam and Thanos were the king and queen. When it comes to his scientific and engineering know-how, Thanos stands supreme against the Marvel Universe's brightest, including Reed and Valeria Richards, Tony Stark, T'Challa, and Hank Pym. For a prime example, let's look back at when Thanos, who had recently rejected Mistress Death, sought to make amends for his past misdeeds and attempts to atone for his crimes against the Regalian people for destroying their home world, Rigel 3, thereby killing over 5 million Regalian citizens. Thanos visits their new home world, known simply as New Rigel 3, in order to seek redemption. Upon arrival, the super advanced technology of the Regalians is on full display. I'm talking a planetary defense system that can teleport their entire planet galaxies away in order to escape threats, outer planetary defense ships, armed combat drones, and tech to increase the mass and firepower of their elite soldiers in order to match whoever they face in combat. This Regalian technology sounds super advanced to us, but is actually quite quaint to Thanos, who makes his approach far too fast for the planetary teleportation system to even come online, as he uses his suit's personal teleporter to appear right before the Grand Commissioner's royal palace, while his dreadnought just sits in orbit, being fired upon the whole time to no avail, as its defense systems are just too much for the Regalian weaponry, much as his personal defenses are far too much for the Regalian soldiers who confront him outside of the royal palace. An unfazed Thanos surprisingly surrenders and agrees to being placed in a photon cube by General Zygo, while Adam, who accompanies the Titan, explains to the Grand Commissioner their reason for their visit. While this is going on, the General stages a coup and declares his intent to compact the photon cube which imprisons Thanos to the size of a grape, thereby crushing him like one. Adam is also attacked, but easily incapacitates an entire squad of elite soldiers, while Thanos shows us the disparity between himself and those he seeks to aid. And we get not only another glimpse of the Titan's power, but also just how fast his complex mind could analyze and find solutions to multiple problems. Within mere moments, Thanos busted free from his containment cell, killing 12 of General Zygo's men in the process, and continued on to the adjoining room where he hacked their sophisticated computer systems for the central databank. He scanned their various files, and within maybe a minute or two, analyzed and devised several plans to help with their geopolitical status, upgraded their planetary teleportation system to come online in half the time, uploaded designs to vastly improve the propulsion system of their Starfleet, and of course upgraded their security system to prevent future hacks. His final altruistic deed is actually improving the Regalian gene pool by murdering the general that attempted to take his life. Adam advises Thanos that if he wishes for people to take his change of heart seriously, he may want to consider tallying up less of a body count. To truly make amends for literally killing their planet, the Regalian people request Thanos help them with a truly cosmic level problem they are facing, as one of their worlds, Rigel 18, currently has an unwelcomed guest, the World Devourer, Galactus. To make a long story short, Thanos fails in saving this world, but does buy them enough time to evacuate this planet. Soon after, Thanos infiltrates Galactus' ship and translates files from the dead language of planet Ta, a world that predates our cosmos itself, and learns that Galactus is actually being duped by an extra-dimensional entity known as Hunger, a being with a special diet much like Galactus, but rather than eating planets, satiates his hunger with entire realities. This being tricks Galactus into believing that he can siphon the same energies off of the Infinity Gems that he absorbs from planets. As it turns out, Galactus actually abhors his duty as Devourer and is seeking a potential way out. In an incredible display of power, a base Thanos with zero prep time battles valiantly against Galactus, holding his own, blasting him through the horizon, destroying his armor, and draining much of the Devourer's energies. Unfortunately, Thanos fails to prevent Galactus from activating the focusing crux device, which utilizes the power of the assembled Infinity Gems to open a dimensional doorway, granting Hunger access to our reality. Even the cosmic might of Galactus pales in comparison to Hunger, who grows more and more powerful as his essence continues to pour through the dimensional doorway. That is until the timed cutoff kicks in that Thanos secretly implanted on the device just moments before confronting Galactus, preventing the vast majority of Hunger's energies from coming through, just in time for Thanos to enact part 2 of his plan. So remember the planetary teleportation tech that Thanos upgraded? Well, apparently he found the time to retrofit the original Dead World, Rigel 3, with this tech, and also place an entire planet's nuclear arsenal right at the impact zone as he checkmates Hunger by teleporting the Dead World right into Rigel 18's atmosphere, teleports himself to a safe distance, and allows gravity to do its thing as these two planets collide, which also detonates the entire nuclear arsenal right where these two cosmic titans battled. Even after expending so much energy fighting both Thanos and Hunger, Thanos calced Galactus' survival rate at 60%, which he considered to be fair odds, considering Galactus inevitably caused this entire debacle. The bit of Hunger that made it into our reality is completely annihilated, and the rest is cut off from accessing our realm. With virtually zero prep time, Thanos was once again instrumental in saving our entire universe from an extra-dimensional threat, which is especially crazy considering all he originally set out to do was aid one galactic civilization that he had previously wronged. Wow, that was a lot to unpack. And remember, that was merely a speed run through nearly 50 years of comic book history, highlighting key feats that I found pertinent. There are so many awe-inspiring feats I left out, such as when Drax, who we already established scales well below Thanos, rips the core of a star apart with his bare hands in a fit of rage, or when Thanos and Adam easily incapacitated one of the superhero teams stacked with the most heavy hitters, the Annihilators, comprised of the Silver Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, Gladiator, Quasar, Icon, and Ronan the Accuser. We will deep dive these feats and many, many more when we drop our video series detailing Thanos' chronological rise in power and abilities over the past 5 decades. But for now, I feel that we have painted a pretty vivid picture of what the Mad Titan is capable of. Marvel Comics has a long and storied past with copious multiversal threats such as the Chaos King Mikabashi, the Scarlet Witch, and the 2 occasions that Doctor Doom commandeered the power of the Beyonders. But you would be hard-pressed to validate a claim that any being has reached the heights that Thanos has, or done so as consistently as Thanos has. Thanos has put fear in all who call the Marvel Universe home since his debut in 1973, and for the vast majority of instances, only loses when he subconsciously sows the seeds to his own defeat. For Thanos is a conflicted soul, a contradiction who has been instrumental in saving all of reality when no one else could, more so than he has ever attempted to destroy it. There are many villains that require an entire team of superheroes to assemble to contend with, and even some that require multiple teams joining forces. But when Thanos strikes, not even a gathering of the most capable intergalactic forces is enough to contend with his awful might. And when universal cataclysm is at hand, Thanos is the last line of defense. Thanos has thrown hands with those with the power to tear asunder entire galaxies. Thanos has obtained power over the universe, the multiverse, and the omniverse on copious occasions. At the end of the day, it is beyond clear that Thanos is truly inevitable. Whether through strategic planning, unmatched raw power, or unparalleled force of will, Thanos will always prevail in the end. If you made it to the end of this video, I cannot thank you enough for just letting me rant about one of my favorite characters ever written. It is a dream come true for me to be able to make these videos and begin assembling a community of those who adore Cosmic Marvel as much as I do. If you enjoyed this breakdown on the true terrifying power of Thanos, then please detonate that like button. Leave a comment down below if you would like me to make a chronological video series detailing every major Thanos feat from every major event, and subscribe so I can continue making these universe-shattering videos for years to come. This growing community means the world to me, and I'm so excited to see what it'll become. Thank you so much.